Hi first grade writers, Mrs. McCary here. Today I want to talk to you about how writers use checklists. Before we get into today's learning target, I want to take a moment to congratulate you on all the hard work that you've been doing as writers. Myself and all of your teachers know that you are working super hard to write every day, to do the best that you can, and we've been working really hard on both opinions and reviews. We've loved seeing your hard work, and we can't wait to see the best piece of writing that you produce to turn into us at the end of this week. Now, back to checklists. I'm wondering, have you ever gone to the grocery store with your family and your mom or dad had to make a list of all the items that they needed to buy? We often use a checklist at the grocery store to check those items off as we put them in the cart to make sure we don't forget anything before we leave the store. Or how about when your family's going on a trip or a vacation, maybe a weekend getaway? We often make a list of all the things we need to pack. So that way, once we get to where we're going, we don't say, oops, I forgot that. Those checklists are very important and they help us make sure that we get all of our jobs done. It's the same thing for writers. When writers are getting ready to publish, like you are this week, they want to make sure they use a checklist to cover all the important pieces a writing piece must need to make sure it's the best that it can be. Now, attached to today's task, you will have your own first grade checklist. We're going to cover those different pieces in detail here, but I want to make sure you know that you can use this. You don't have to print it out. You can just open it up on your device and use it on the screen to make sure that you cover all these important pieces. Now, let's get started. First thing a writer needs to make sure on their checklist is that they have gotten their reader's attention. We often call this a hook. That might be by asking them a question or giving a statement. Now, in the type of writing we've been doing for opinions and reviews, we want to make sure that we name our topic and give our opinion. As we continue on, we want to make sure that we provide reasons to support our opinion. My example, one reason I love to run is because it makes me feel good. As you get deeper into your story, you want to make sure that you say more. And the way that we often say more is we use words like because to support our reasons, and, or even also. As you get further in and you're providing more details for your reader, you want to check to make sure that you've used labels and words to give details. Running is a great way to keep your heart healthy. So I've labeled my heart and my running person who is working on being healthy. We also want to make sure that we include that ending piece. We want to make sure that we wrap it all up and we kind of revisit what our opinion is. That is why I love running. So those are some of the main components we want to check for when we're writing that really strong opinion or review piece. However, there are some finishing touches we also need to make sure we go back and check off that list. We want to make sure that we are using all we know about our words to help us spell. That might be words that you remember from our word walls in our classrooms, or perhaps word families that you can use for chunks to make new words. So really make sure when you're going back and rereading your writing that you're checking to make sure all those words are spelled the best that they can be. And finally, something that we also know that we recognize as readers, in our writing, we want to make sure that we use a capital letter at the beginning of our sentences, as well as if we use a name, such as a restaurant or a movie, if we're doing a review on something along those lines. And we also want to make sure that we are ending our sentences with punctuation. Maybe it's a telling sentence where you're going to use a period. Maybe you're asking a question, so you want to add a question mark. Or maybe it's a really strong feeling and you want to use an exclamation mark. Writers, these are very important things. You need to go back and make sure that you are checking this week in your writing, and you can do that with your checklist. If you find that there's any of these items that you have forgotten, that means we go back and we keep working on our writing until it truly is the best that it can be. Writers, again, your teachers are so proud of you, and we can't wait to see your next best piece of writing. Now, go look at that checklist, and happy writing. See you soon.